Alright, welcome back to the Figma Mastery series. Before we jump into today's lesson, let me quickly prepare the stage for you because this episode builds directly on the last two. If you haven't watched episode 8 and episode 9 yet, those will help a lot. I explained what components are, how instances work, and why they are the foundation of every professional UI design system. The links are in the description. But even if you are new and starting from this video, don't worry, I will walk you slowly and show everything on screen from scratch. Let's begin. I'm going to create a simple button again. Nothing fancy, just a blue frame and a bit of text inside that says button. You have seen me do this before. This is important because I want you to understand these properties inside a clean, simple component without any distractions. Make sure to use frame here instead of shape. Otherwise, you won't be able to control all the component properties I will show you in this video. Now I will select both the text and the frame, right click, create component, or you can press Option Command key if you are on Mac. There we go. This is our base component. This component is the starting point of everything we are going to build today. Next, I will duplicate it, detach it, make it rounded by adding corner radius, and make this version also a component. So now I have two versions of the same button side by side. I'll select both of them, and on the right sidebar I will click combine as variants. You will see a purple label appear under them that says two variants. Perfect. You can do the same thing in a easier way. Just select your button, right click and select create component. Then click on this plus icon that says add variant. That's it. We can add more variant by clicking on this button. If this feels new to you, variants are simply different version of the same component. For example, a default button and a rounded button, or a light button and a dark button, or a hover state and a rest state. Everything lives inside one component and you switch between them with properties. Now let's select the component set we just created and look at the right sidebar. You will see something called properties. Right now, Figma already created one for us by default. It usually has a name like property 1 with values like frame 11 and frame 12 or anything that is your layer name. If this looks confusing, don't worry, you will understand it clearly in the next few minutes. Let's rename the variants first so it's easier to follow. I'll click on the first one and rename it default. Then the second one, I will rename this rounded. Now our variants make sense. One is the regular button and the other one has a different style. If I select the entire component set again, you will notice the property now shows default and rounded as options. This means when you drag this component into a real design later, you will be able to switch between default and rounded with a single click. That is the power of variant properties. Now let's go deeper. We will add more properties, and this is where Figma gets very fun and very powerful. First, let's make this component set border bigger so we can add more buttons inside. Then I'm going to duplicate these two buttons and change the colors for hover state. Then select the component set, click on this plus icon next to property list. From here I will choose variant. A pop-up window appears. I can name it shape or style or whatever I want. For now I will keep this simple and name it state. I will keep the value default and hit create property. Also I will change the first property name to type. Then I will select the third button and change the type to default and state to hover. Then select the fourth button and change the type to rounded and state to hover. Now we have two properties controlling this component set. If I take an instance from this component, you will notice how easy it is to switch between different styles using this property. If something looks messy right now, trust me, this will feel very natural by the end of this episode. Or you can just watch the video again, everything will be clear. Now let's move to the text properties, which is one of the most important things you will ever use inside components. I'll click inside the text layer of the default variant. In the right sidebar under the text section, you will see the content area showing the label button. If I change this text here, you can see the change on button as well. For now, I will keep it button. Beside it, there is a small icon for properties. When I click it, Figma gives me the option to turn this text into a reusable text property. I will name this property label. Then click create property. Now if I select the whole component set, watch what happens. There is a new property for text named label. Now if I change this label value to something like click me, you can see it's only affecting the first button because we still did not add the second button text with this property. So let's select the text inside the second button, click on this icon and add it to this property by clicking here. Now the text inside both variants is now controlled by a single label property. If I type new text here in the property field, both variants will immediately update. I am going to do the same for the remaining two buttons as well. This means your buttons can now change its label instantly without breaking spacing, auto layout or structure. This is exactly how big design systems like Material Design handle dynamic content. The layout stays consistent and only the text changes. Let me show you something important. When I edit the text directly inside the component, it updates for all the variants because they share the same text property. When I drag this component into a design later, that label field will appear in the right sidebar. So a designer can type anything they want like buy now, subscribe, download or whatever their screen needs. This is why text properties matter so much. They keep your components flexible but also consistent. Now that we understand variant properties and text properties, let's take it a bit deeper and prepare for the next part. I want to show one more quick example. I'll add a second text property to the rounded variant. Maybe this variant needs a secondary label. So I'll select the text layer, create another text property, rename it label 2 and give it a default value. You will see how suddenly our component is starting to behave like a real product UI element, something that can adapt to different screens and context. We have covered a lot already and this is only the first half. So let me pause here and quickly recap what you have learned so far. You now know how to create a component, create variants, rename variants so they are clear, create variants properties, create text properties, and understand how those properties sync across variants. So take a breath, relax for a moment, and when you are ready, move on to the second half. Alright, now that you understand text properties and variant properties, it's time to explore the part of Figma that makes your components feel alive. This is where you go from simple buttons to real dynamic UI elements that behave like actual app components. Let's continue exactly where we left off. I still have my 4 variants here: default, rounded and hover states. Each have a text property called label. Everything is clear, simple and ready. Now we will add one of the most important properties in all of Figma, a Boolean properties. Think of a Boolean property as a simple switch, on or off, show or hide, true or false. It's incredibly powerful because it lets you control things inside your component with a single click. Let me show you. Inside the default variant, I'll add a simple piece of text. It could be something like new. This is just an example. You can imagine this being a badge, a tag, an icon or anything that appears only in certain situations. Right now it's always visible because it's just a normal layer. So first I will select the whole component set. Look at the right sidebar. There is the same property icon we used earlier for text properties. But this time, instead of choosing text, I'm going to choose Boolean. A little pop-up appears where I can name the property. I'll simply call it show. And the value is true by default. Then click create property. The new Boolean property is now showing here. Now we have to connect it with the small text. So let's select the small text. Click on this small icon inside appearance section. Previously for the text property, we used this similar icon. But for Boolean property, make sure to select this icon inside the appearance section. Then select this show property which we just created and watch what happens. Let me just take an instance from this button. On the properties panel, you now see a toggle called show. When I switch it off, the new label disappears. When I switch it on, it comes back. This means that every designer who uses this button later can decide whether they want this little badge visible or not, without moving anything, without deleting anything, without breaking the component. Boolean properties make your UI clean and predictable. They avoid messy layers floating around. Everything is controlled logically. Now let's move to instance swap properties, which are equally powerful. Instance swap lets you replace a nested component inside another component. This is perfect for swapping icons. Let's say I have a small collection of simple icons here. I downloaded from the Figma community. Now these are just simple icons. I'll make all of this component. We can either select one by one and click create component, or we can select all of these icons, then click on this small drop down icon and select the second option called create multiple component. This is another way of creating multiple element component faster. Now I'll copy a button from here and go back to main button. I'll place the icon inside the button layout. Now we have a button with a text label and an icon. Here is the important part. When I select the icon inside the button and look at the right sidebar, you can see there is a new icon called create instance swap property. You will only see it when the icon is a component. So let's click on it and name the property something like icon. Then click on this plus icon and you will be able to pick all the components you just created and want available in the swap menu. So I'll select the icons I created. Then click create property. Now in the property list, I can switch the icon from search to close to arrow or anything. This means when someone drags this button onto their screen, they no longer need to open the layers panel and manually replace icons. They just choose from a drop down list and the button updates automatically. This is how modern design systems work. Every element is flexible but consistent. I am showing all of these component settings with buttons. It doesn't mean that you will only use component for buttons. You can use this component and properties for anything that you use on multiple pages and multiple sections. It can be navbar, footer, card or anything. Now let me show you a quick real example. I'll duplicate my button variants, so now I have 4. I'll turn on the show property for some of them. I'll change the icon property for others. I'll edit the label property for a few more. Look at that. We now have 4 different buttons that all share the same structure but behave completely different. All controlled through properties. No manual edits, no broken layouts. Everything stays aligned and perfectly managed by auto layout. Now let's talk about something that confuses beginners: conflicting variants. Sometimes, if 2 variants are using the same values for all their properties, Figma will show a warning that says some variants have the same property values applied. This basically means Figma is confused because it can't tell the variants apart. When that happens, you can simply adjust the property value on each variant. Make sure each variant has a unique combination of values. Once you fix that, the warning disappears. Next, let me show the component configuration window because most people don't use it, but it's incredibly helpful. If I click the settings icon at the top right of the component setting, a configuration window opens. Here I can write a description explaining how to use this component. I can leave notes for my team, such as when to use each variance or how the properties should behave. Then when a designer or developer select this component set, they will see your note here. This makes your design system more understandable and it helps your future self as well. Now let's look at how all these properties come together when I drag this component into a real design. I'll pull the component from the asset panel. It appears on the canvas and instantly the right sidebar gives me control over the label, the type, the show toggle, the icon and any other properties I added. No layers, no searching, no renaming, just clean, powerful, easy to use controls. This is the magic of component properties. Your design becomes modular. Everything becomes faster. Your work becomes more consistent and your UI begins to feel like a real product system, not a bunch of random shapes. Let's take a moment to breathe and appreciate what we have built in this episode. You now understand how to create variants, how to rename them, how to create variant properties, how to create text properties, how to create Boolean show and hide properties, how to create instance swap properties, how to fix conflicting variants, how to add description for your components, and how these properties work together inside a real UI design. This knowledge puts you miles ahead of most beginners. In the next episode, we are going to combine everything you learned today and take it even further. We will build smart interactions between variants. This is where your components start behaving like actual UI elements with states and transitions. If you still didn't watch episode 8 and 9, make sure to watch them for more clarity. If you are enjoying this series, stay with me. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a small comment to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.